So again, welcome everybody. For those of you new to me, I'm Kathy Nelson, the CEO and founder of the Photo Managers. And this is our fourth year of doing Profitability Live. And I think it's really important if you're on the fence or if you have decided that you get a chance to meet the speakers and get a better oversense of what you're investing in. It is, we talk all about money at this conference, and it's really important, but it's a topic that people tend to shy away from or feel like we're not supposed to talk about it. There's a lot of resistance. There's been some of that comes from some other associations that kind of have a model where you don't talk about pricing because they're worried that, I think it was around price fixing, but I've never really felt like we have to be too concerned with that because we live in different parts of the country, and we're certainly not saying that everybody's charges this for scanning and everybody should charge this for, because we all have different workflows. And I learned early on that just was important to have this conversation. And I know it's been a game changer for many people. So I'm going to share my screen with you. What I'm going to do is, so the speakers know, when I come to your section, I will actually stop sharing my screen. So we'll be on screen together because I didn't ask the speakers to present anything. But so again, we're going to talk about what we learn at Profitability Live and to meet the speakers. And so Marcy didn't know this. Whoops, gotta go too fast. Marcy sent this testimonial a few years ago. I will never not attend this. My business really took off after implementing some of the tips, but I also like to think it was just being in the Profitability Live headspace that really helped. Thinking differently, asking questions, trying different approaches to see what works. I recommend Profitability Live to everyone. So thank you, Marcy, for that quote a few years ago. And this year, our theme is all about unlocking the secrets of pricing through real life case studies shared by experienced professionals. We believe in transparency, so there's no secrets here. Instead, you'll gain the exact knowledge you need to estimate, price, and deliver projects successfully. It's a double victory. And with this expertise, ideally, you're going to feel more valued and well compensated. In addition, every year we have a different keynote speaker. This year we have Wendy Barlin, who many of you might have heard speak in January. If you didn't, it'd be worth going back and listen. She's a CPA and talked about making sure that you're getting all the tax write-offs that you should be getting. She is going to be working with two members using the methods based on this best-selling book, which has been out for a very long time, called Profits First. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's a financial management method developed by this entrepreneur and author named Michael Michalowicz. The Profit First method is based on his idea that business owners should prioritize profitability over growth. According to him, traditional financial management practices often encourage business owners to focus on growing their revenue and expanding their operations, while profitability is often an afterthought. He seeks to change that by putting profitability first at the forefront of a business strategy. So it's an interesting concept. It's almost like putting money in envelopes, but it really, if you've used this, you can drop a note in the chat. If you hadn't, I think you'll learn quite a bit from this, from her talking about this. So are you ready for this in-depth conversation where we're going to talk about, at Profitability Live, we'll be talking about how can you accurately estimate a project timeline? What are the crucial steps from initial intake to final delivery? How can I price my services? Should I do them hourly, by piece, or with package options? What if a client is dissatisfied by my work? Is working with a company different than handling a family project? And how can I monetize my expertise by helping families with their home movies? So in a moment, you're going to meet the speakers. But for those of you, if you haven't registered yet, just so you know, the early bird is $299. It includes lifetime access to all the recordings, and that ends on December 30th. If you'd like to prefer to just take one or two classes, we will be offering a snapshot pass, but we won't be offering that until October. So, but really, it's a really great investment. You can register there. And if we have any non-members who have joined this meeting today, you're welcome as well. We're talking a lot about photos and things, but if you're a professional organizer that learned about this, this could be a great opportunity for you as well. So I mentioned again that Wendy Barlin is our keynote speaker, and she's going to be talking about mastering cash flow for unparalleled success. She talks about, she's not only mastered the principles of the book Profit First, but she shares them with her clients. So during the month of June, and some of the people are on this call that applied for that, we asked for volunteers. We chose 25 people applied, and I'm going to introduce the two members that she's going to work with. And then she will be presenting their experience as part of her keynote talk. So you're going to actually, we have two members who will actually have a real in-depth experience of this, and then you'll learn about their experience. So the first person that we'll be working with is Karen Herman. She's the owner of Organized Photos Forever. She's been in business for 8 years and she earns over 6 figures. This is what she wrote as part of her goals in working with Wendy. She said, my business has grown incrementally year to year. I've known Karen from the beginning and I've watched how amazing her business has grown, but I'm not sure how to scale to see big increases in profit. Having the advice of a professional might help me look at my business in a new way. Plus, every quarter I get blindsided when estimated taxes are due. I need a system to set aside my money for taxes so I'm not short on cash when I write a large check. And I'm not sure if my business is set up really tax efficiently, or am I taking full advantage of deductions? So that's what she wanted to learn, and Wendy will be working with her on those topics using first and then reporting that. The other person is Marcy, who actually gave us the testimonial. And here I am going to stop sharing my screen. And Marcy, you can come off mute and share a little bit about what you're hoping to learn in your process of working with Wendy.
Oh, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm super psyched that Karen was also chosen. I can't wait to hear what Wendy does with her. So I love Profit First. I learned about it during the first Profitability Live, and I became obsessed with it and thought, oh my God, this is the answer to my prayers. Between Profitability Live and the book, I thought, totally got this. But like Karen, I feel like I need the help of a pro to sort of get me more focused. I'm really good with like managing my money. I don't need the envelopes. I have a spreadsheet, but I found that like I'm terrified to spend money, and I know it takes money to make money, but I don't want to spend anything because I'm like, I don't really have enough to spend on hiring somebody, et cetera. So I'm hoping that Karen and Wendy can sort of help me calm down and work through some of those issues and figure out how best to utilize the stuff I've learned from Profitability Live and Profit First, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Good. Well, we're excited for you as well. I think it's really fun to have somebody, true case studies, right? I think case studies are critical, especially these are people in our business who work with, they know what you do every day, right? So you're not dealing with this, it's not theoretical information that you're going to be getting. So let me go back to my screen. And so again, we mentioned we're going to be doing real life. We have 6 professional experienced photo managers who will be with us, who will be sharing their real life case studies with you during the conference. 3 of them were able to join us live today, and they're going to share a little bit about their client and the case studies they'll be sharing with you. Each of these speakers have been where you have been. They've been unsure how to estimate and price a project. Sometimes they might still feel that way, yet they persevered. And now we're going to share what they're looking forward to sharing with you to help shorten your learning curve. And so you can move forward with that. So again, I'm going to stop my share, and Rachel Arbuckle is going to be joining us. And we had said her topic is managing a $50,000 project, but she's actually been thinking a lot about this and might have some changes in store, which is, I told her, great. I think people will be thrilled that you've thought a lot about this and what you want to present. So
fantastic. Thanks so much, Kathy. And thanks for being flexible. I really, when I first joined the photo managers, I had so much to learn. There's the business acumen, obviously, when you run your own business, and we have employees and brick and mortar, so that has its own challenges. But in regards to just looking at the projects themselves, initially we were going to try and do a $50,000 or $60,000 project just to kind of show the evolution of, what is it like to work with these really big projects that have a multitude of media types and things like that. And I thought, if there's a lot of newer people participating, which I imagine there are, it would be more beneficial to kind of learn, how do we standardize our process, right? How do you standardize your process, whether we're talking about a $50,000 or $60,000 project, or we're talking about a $5,000 project. So with Kathy's permission, as she mentioned, I'm going to kind of modify this a little bit to talk about really the power of standardization and how maximizing the efficiency of how you approach projects is going to contribute to increased revenue, hopefully less stress over the years that, as we've perfected this, and client satisfaction for a photo organizing project. My plan then during Profitability that's a tough one to say.
I know.
During the event, is really, I'm going to hopefully walk all the viewers through a larger project just so that we can kind of get a taste of everything. So we're going to start with everything from we're going to walk you through our process. So when you get new inventory, what does that intake look like? What things do you have to plan so that you can address any issues that are coming forward? I'm going to talk a little bit about the process of print photo organizing and some things you can do to, again, make things more efficient. We're going to move on to talking about digitizing. We'll talk a little bit about everything from prints, negatives to slides and camera scanning, because we provide all of those. We'll jump into some digital photo organizing for the same project. Of course, the outtake, and then I'm going to kind of mention some upsell and maintenance ideas. So the idea is that we're going to walk through an entire project. I'm going to share pricing with you and how we do our pricing. But what I'm hoping is my goal for this presentation is not necessarily to focus on this is how you should price things. I want to help focus on sort of what that process looks like and how you can implement that into your own business, whether you're doing packages or billing hourly. So
Excellent. Well, that'll be great. And if you have anybody has questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. But I think, thank you so much. I think, Rachel, how many years have you been working at this now?
I mean, my first conference was Anaheim. Was that 9 years? So we've been in brick and mortar for 5 years with the team. Actually, next month, it'll be 5 years here in the office. And we're actually doing a little celebration, I think. So, and it's a newer industry. If you and I have discussed many times, and I'm sure many here know that, and we weren't given a blueprint. Somebody starting a landscaping business or a salon, you can get on Etsy and find all the paperwork.
Yeah.
Until Kathy started generating that, it wasn't there. And so this is a great opportunity, this whole event. So thanks for letting me be a part of it.
Thanks for saying yes. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Next up, we want to meet Lucas Roberts, who's going to be sharing, I loved his topic too, managing client expectations when things go wrong. So Lucas, tell us a little bit about what you're going to share with us.
I love my topic as well. I'm for anybody who watched the last event that I did, I'm kind of a psychology geek. I really like unpacking mistakes. If I make a mistake with a client, or if one of my consultants makes a mistake with a client, then I want to fully understand that and really unpack it and come to a really good resolution. I'll be sharing a real life example of a big project gone wrong. Somebody who we were doing I think it was a $4,000 or $5,000 project for them, and now as a lifetime client, this person has I just checked, it was $68,000. So really, on the big scale, how to handle when those go wrong, but also how to handle that process. I use the same process, whether it's big project or a 2-hour job and the client is upset. So I'll be sharing an example of how a job goes off track. The client is mad. Time and money are being wasted. I'll share some examples and techniques to figure out exactly where I went wrong or my consultant went wrong. Even if, and especially if it was a failure to read the client's mind or to predict the future. I love unpacking that stuff and unpacking the psychology of client expectations and how they see things. I'll share some methods for getting things back on track, how I handle time and money credits, when to give credits and how much credit to give, and how that relates to actually building trust and increasing trust to turn it into a long-term client relationship, a lifetime client and lifetime loyalty that end up being 5-star Google reviews and people who become ambassadors for me and my team and tell everybody about us because of how we handled the problem. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, Lucas. I think that's an important topic. And I think all of you know the anxiety that you can feel when you're taking a client's photos or, for Lucas going into their Mac computer, in the early stages to what if I don't back it up right? Or what if I lose their photos or things like that? So I think this is going to be a great additional topic. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And the other person who is with us is Stephanie Heller, who's here today. And she's going to share about, let's see, did I write? I'm looking at my notes, but yes, managing a corporate job, including what not to do and what to do in estimating, project management, and outsourcing work on an ongoing basis. So, hey, Stephanie, welcome.
Hi, Kathy, and thanks for including me with such a great group. I don't know about everybody else on this call, but I can't wait to hear Lucas and Rachel's presentations. Yeah, so I have to say, for those of you who've attended Profitability Live and those who haven't, I just distinctly remember attending the first Profitability Live. I was on a layover in an airport. I registered online, and literally, like in between flights, when I'm listening to all the noise, I was in the terminal absolutely fixated to Profitability Live because I needed it. I didn't know how much I needed it, but to say it was a game changer would be a bit of an understatement, because at the time I was overwhelmed with corporate clients. So sort of ask the rhetorical question, what does a hospital, a multinational law firm, a museum, and a city have in common? And the answer is that they all have photos. They all have news clippings, media, things that they need digitized. It actually takes the same amount of time and effort to secure an individual family with a handful of photos and videos as it does to be retained by a multinational law firm with decades of videos, photos, media clippings at offices and storage bays at offices all around the globe. And here's the really cool thing, is that I found that my customers came to me as possibly a family. And I was able to connect the dots to see that my current clients were my future clients because they worked for these big corporations, or they were on the board of a nonprofit, and vice versa. Whenever I get a large organization, invariably somebody with the organization will say, do you do families as well? So wherever you are in your respective career, there's really great opportunities to connect the dots. And I'm a big, big believer in connecting the dots to see how you can really enhance your business. And also, it's just great in terms of a frame of reference for a referral network. So I'm going to talk about the differences and the similarities between working with a corporate client as opposed to a family client, everything from prospecting, how do you find them? Who are the stakeholders? How do you get buy-in? Because sometimes that is quite complicated, or sometimes it's quite similar to working with a family with a lot of stakeholders. Pricing. There's different nuances to pricing when you're working with a corporation, because you need to be aware of things like fiscal budgets, working in phases. And the other thing about pricing that is very interesting is, how do you price a job when your client doesn't know what they have? What comes first, the pricing or the inventory? Well, a lot of times you don't have the opportunity to do that. And so I work with clients in phases where we break it down and we set certain goals and priorities. My goal is to sort of share with you the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'll tell you about my trials and tribulations, because I certainly figured this out along the way, and I've learned, and I continue to learn from my mistakes, hopefully less so now than in the past, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have and help your business to grow. So thanks for including me.
Oh, I'm thrilled, Stephanie. I think, the opportunities with corporates, nonprofits, all those things is a big opportunity that we know has been out there. It's just they're Stephanie, and I know Rachel's got some big ones too. They're, again, early pioneers laying the groundwork to then share with others so that you can come behind them and learn from their mistakes and things like that. So thank you, Stephanie. I'm really looking forward to. Thank you for saying yes as well. The other speakers that couldn't be with us today is going to be Sasha Golding. She's going to be talking about unlocking precious memories in home movies. So she does the whole movie experience. Laura Barker, who will be doing transforming a lifetime of photos into a series of photo books. And then Jennifer Loomis, who does managing a family's growing digital collection. She has a thriving business up in Seattle, really only focused on digital. She does a lot of work with Mylio, and she was a professional photographer. So I think there'll be a lot of really great things to learn from her. And then as part of then a panel discussion, additional to learning from one professional, we know that there's a great power in learning from multiple members. There isn't only one way to approach our business, right? And we know this. There's different, you'll hear that from these speakers, right? And so another highly requested training topic has been, how do you track your time? So we asked 4 members to share their methods to ensure accurate invoicing, avoiding overcharging and undercharging. So Kate and Kathy Robinson are here with us today. They are going to introduce themselves and share a little bit about what they'll be discussing. So Kate, you want to go first? And then we'll have Kathy.
I guess I'm first. So, hi everybody. I follow a very simple process, which is measure twice, literally measure twice. Measure, measure, measure. And I follow the example in my estimates that Kathy lays out in the photo manager's courses, which is, let me read my metric because I don't memorize it. 1 inch is 2 centimeters, 2.5 centimeters, 5 centimeters is 200 photos. So I am a fine arts person. I studied fine arts. So I measure everything. And then I just kind of base my estimate from there. And then once I'm back at the ranch, as I've nicknamed it, I live by my timer. I die by my timer. I time everything. Even today, while I was doing photo edits for a book, I was like, how long do you think this is going to take me? And then I challenged myself to do it faster the next time, and faster the next time, and faster the next time. And then I'll do the math as to how much that costs me, or how much did I make. I like math. Who knew?
Who knew? A creative, right brain, left brain.
Who loves math.
All right, Kate. So great. So Kate will be sharing as part of that panel discussion. And also we'll be probably sending out a survey for questions that you want us to ask the panel as well beforehand. So be thinking about questions you might have. And Kathy Robertson is also going to be one of our speakers for that topic. And Kathy's here as well.
Hi there, everyone. My background is systems analysis, so I'm fairly geeky and fairly computer oriented in how I track time. I have used a bunch of different timers. I've used Toggle. I was subscribed to 17 Hats and Dubsado and used those tools. And I've currently gone back to the good old spreadsheet. Time is a resource. It is one that we typically don't measure quite as accurately because it's not the same as scanners or inches of photos or the cost of subscribing to Adobe. But the only way you can be profitable is if you measure the time you spend. Even if you're brand new and you are not necessarily feeling like you can charge your client for everything, you should track that separately then so that you know how long it took you. And as Kate had mentioned, that you see when you improve. So I tend, because of my systems analyst background, I tend to track everything using a computer tool, but you could use a paper and pencil as well. The important thing is that you track it.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm excited about this topic. I think this is always one that's a kind of a mystery for a lot of people. And then also, I'm sure one of the questions I'm sure I'll bring up if nobody else does is like, well, if you get faster at it, does that mean you charge less? But we'll hold on to that answer, right? Because I think there's, an answer for that. Okay, so let's see. So I talked about, so we've met Stephanie and we met Lucas and we have our other topics. And then the other folks that'll be joining us on this panel discussion are Alita Bunting and then also John Spear. So we're excited about them. Here's the tentative schedule. This may change a little bit, but just for your own planning purposes, it'll start, Profitability Live starts on Thursday, November 2nd. We'll start with at noon Eastern Standard Time. So hopefully balancing our West Coast people, not too early like we were for conference. Sorry about that for those that were there. And then our people also from Europe. And then it's always tough on our Australian members, but the keynote will be at 2. Then we'll do another case study, and then we'll do small group discussions. I think any of you have been a member for a while, you know that we love to do this. We'll use Huddle. It'll be 7:30 to 9, where you'll be able to talk with other members to, what have you been learning at this experience? What was a surprise to you? What was your aha? And then on Friday, we'll come back with another case study. And then we will do a panel discussion. It will be at 1, case studies at 3. And then again, that small group discussion, and then we'll be done on Friday. In the past, we've done this over 3 days, but we did a survey and most people felt like, you know what, did we really need to do it on a Saturday? We did this, actually, it was during COVID. This was built from how amazing the virtual conference was during COVID. And I think the first year, everybody was still hanging around at home a lot, and Thursday, Friday, and Saturday were a good idea. But now we know people are back kind of big into life, and hopefully you have fun, exciting plans for Friday evening and Saturday. So this will be all day Thursday and then Friday. Remember, these are all recorded, so if you can't make it live, it's okay. You'll be able to go back and watch these over and over again. And so again, just back on the pricing, it's $299 now until September 30th. And then if non-members are welcome to register as well. And those of you that got in on the early bird, then you realize you did get a really good deal. So that's the end of that. So I'm going to stop my share. And do we have Rebecca, do we have questions that have come in or comments or anything that we need to specific speakers or that people have for us?
Marcy asked, will there be help around estimating the cost of jobs as opposed to the timeline?
For the panel discussion or for the speakers?
Not sure, Marcy, if you want to give some clarification on where you were hoping to find that information. But we did get also, she already got a response from Rachel, who said she's going to try to include tips on estimating in her presentation. So that'll be good.
Yeah, we knew, we said that estimating was going to be part of this because that is the biggest struggle for so many people, right? So.
Other than that, no questions in yet, but feel free to add them now if you have any.
All right. And are people excited? I can look at the messages here too. Yeah, I think this is going to be, I'm really excited for, I hope you guys are as excited as I. Thank you so much to the speakers who gave of their time today to join us to just kind of give you an overview. It's going to be amazing in November. If you haven't read Profitability Live, I mean, Profit First, you might want to read it. If not, it's not required, but you'll learn a lot. And some people are putting already what they want to know. So we will definitely be sending a survey about for what you want to know from the panel discussions, and even maybe for some of the speakers themselves, because we've got plenty of time. It's only July and this isn't until November. And so if there's real specific topics that I think you want to address, we can share them with them, with the speakers want to bring to you what you need to learn. So we've got lots of time for that. So, all right, everybody. Well, thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. And we really can't wait to be together with everybody in November.